All right, so we live. It's gonna be quick, Try to keep it under 10 minutes. But the funny part is this: this conversation might not be for you. You know, certain topics on the panels, people want to jump up and get a 2 cent, 3 cent, maybe a quarter. This conversation might not be for you because what are we talking about? You barely scratched the surface on. You know, I love Art's channel, Art and Style TV. Go over there all the time. Sometimes I just be in the chat. Getting certain days I be tired working, but then sometimes I come on the panel. The moment they start going into politics, I know enough to hold my own in the conversation. But the guys that know what they're talking about, I sit back, let them talk, or I fall back and just jump off the panel. I'm not gonna give my 2 cent where it's not needed or it's common knowledge in which most people know. So I let the guys on the panel work. Most guys don't understand that. If I don't have the knowledge to hold within the conversation, step back. You're not perfect. You're not going to get everything right all the time. You got guys talking about marriage and ain't even had relationships longer than 5 and 6 months. You got guys talking about treating kids, but you never babysitted your nieces and nephews or anybody in your family. It's just all about what you've seen on TV, seen the interaction with people around you, and that's it. Granted that there are family members that actually, take care of one another kids sometime. So you get that kind of, connection, I guess. But for the most part, like, you're not a parent. You haven't changed no diapers, you know. You haven't disciplined most kids, you know. It's to a point where I heard a family member say, they got to the point where they got older, they didn't want any kids. And their whole thing was this child is good enough to, spoil them, hug them, and when they start acting up, send them back to their mama. Because they don't got to deal with that. You don't got to deal with the no's and all this and the why's. You don't got to deal with none of that. So a lot of people will come into space and have the argument, but then it goes nowhere because if we're trying to get the audience to understand something in which we're referencing, sometimes it works to our benefit to have people that come up there and act like that. But it kind of derails the conversation because, you know, it's supposed to be productive in a sense to getting people to understand certain things. But then you have a guy on the panel, you have to explain to him several times. Pookie Truth, young brother, comes on the panels and it's not a problem. He's there to learn. He knows a little bit, so he can, come in and hold his own in a conversation. But he rarely understands the reason why most of the guys on the panel are getting on him is because you have older gentlemen that are trying to tell you something you don't know, but you heard the conversation from other men to try to hold your own in the argument. And sometimes being a parent, you lose the proper context in which the conversation is being held. You only attach yourself to certain talking points to where sometimes it just don't hit the right way or something. But you know, Like I said, I'm trying to make this short. Just step down, get out the conversation. You know, some people just don't have the intellect. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, unless you're actually a scholar and you pretty much don't know, then it kind of okay. Nobody's gonna shame somebody because they don't know. I mean, most. I mean, let me rephrase that. Most of these guys might shame you, but it's with the expectation of you learning or trying to understand next time. Because if you're in the conversation, that means you know. And for you not to know, to try to play the field, you derail the conversation. Now, the whole issue is trying to put you in the mind frame of understanding, trying to get you to the mind frame of what are you doing. So this just small food for thought. I was the wacky world of TV, wacky world of old TV had a video earlier about the straw man argument. I was gonna actually post the video, but I was having technical difficulties with YouTube. I'm driving, so listening on my phone, and when I tried to go to it on my uh, monitor in my truck, it wouldn't play the video. I was gonna play it in the background to let people hear it. I should have actually linked the description into this video. I might go back and edit it and put it in there later, but if we get about at least 19 minutes within the video, he explains this real well. The whole video is good, but that 19 minutes in basically explains the reason why I made this video. Some people can't hold a weight in the conversation, but chooses to have their input. You know, that's why you have so many of these young guys talking about they want to be MGTOW and ain't even experienced their first date. Probably not even been on, I mean, at least two dates or two relationships, to where you could say I'm going MGTOW because of the attitude of women, not because of the space. I understand guys are not getting a fair deal. And if you don't want to pursue a no try, by all means, just say that. Stop using these other arguments. If all the women in America aren't doing right, cool. Just say, I'm opting out not to, deal with the women right now because of the situations. Don't go into, oh man, these women acting up. They still in. You don't even plan on getting married to any woman that you actually meet. And if you do, you're the fool to go through this relationship, in the height of what's going on. You know, First of all, you got to get a relationship to pursue marriage before you can even have this argument that all women, most women ain't acting right. Second of all, you got to have an understanding of the relationship and what you're looking. If a woman is acting up during the courting slash dating whatever process, cut her off. That's what so many men fall under the veil of sex to where they just get mishandled on the premise of trying to have sex. But shout out to Wacky man. Great conversation. I mean, great live that he had earlier this morning. I actually caught the replay because I was over there with him and Bronsbird and all the other guys over there. But when it comes down to it, have an understanding, know what you're doing. If you don't know about the conversation, I'm not gonna tell you to shut up, but just fall back. Just fall back. You know, you, you don't have to be knowledgeable. I mean, to an extent, you have to be knowledgeable about everything. But if you just don't know, you just don't know. You know. And I'm gonna leave you with this: um, the jack of all trades and a master of none That pretty much statement is always being pushed. But a master of one, you know, cannot master many. If you're just a plumber and I'm a jack of all trades, can do plumbing, cementing, working on cars, dealing with computers, you're a one trick pony, you know. So having a conversation of understanding to certain things to where when it goes over your head, you gotta know when to fall back, you know. I look at guys in coding all the time, look at their videos. I look at guys in finance. I look at guys in the ministry talk about these issues, about the Monahan report and, the feminist movement and all this, the fourth industrial revolution and all. But I'm not deep into that. I have an understanding of it. But when it comes down to it, I fall back. A lot of you guys got to do the same, and women do the same. And we'll go from there. Till next time, we out of here.